to Radio Express World News, presented by Vibha Ramesh, Los Angeles, United States. Opening today's news report with United States Speaker Nancy Pelosi and top White House officials resuming talks on the stimulus package with the agenda of bridging their differences. A spokesperson stated that the one-hour conversation between Ms. Pelosi and Mnuchin got closer to being able to put pen to paper to write legislation. However, enacting a deal before the November 3rd election looks like a tall order. Owing to the rise in coronavirus cases, schools in Boston, except for high-need students, will continue to conduct online classes only as against their initial plan to reopen classes for in-person instruction. Latest news has it that New Jersey Governor Philip Murphy will be on quarantine after one of his senior staff tested positive for the virus. On the other hand, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced the relaxing of restrictions in the city in certain regions while strengthening safety measures in the highly affected areas. To this effect, schools and businesses in certain areas in Brooklyn and Queens will be permitted to reopen, while the hardest hit regions of the two cities will have tighter restrictions. While many states are witnessing another wave of coronavirus cases, California sees a decline in the number of new infections. California recorded only 8 new cases per 100,000 people on Tuesday. Hospitalizations have come down, and so has the positivity rate, which now stands at 2.6% over a 2-week period. Nearly 3 years after the deportation of undocumented migrants, lawyers have still not succeeded in finding the parents of 545 children that were separated under the zero-tolerance policy. Moving on, poultry farmers in the United Kingdom are requesting the government to lift travel restrictions because the country is in desperate need of help from turkey pluckers from the European Union. Data has it that the UK needs hundreds of expert turkey pluckers to fill jobs in the United Kingdom, otherwise the country would face a shortage of birds or increased prices. The British Poultry Council stated that an immediate quarantine exemption is required to ensure that this year's supply of turkeys is not hampered by COVID-related travel restrictions. More on the protests in Nigeria. Police brutality has been haunting several cities despite President's call for calm and the enforcement of curfew by armed security forces. According to current data, the recent handling of protests by police led to the killing of at least 12 people and a number of casualties caused by the gunfire. Despite the unrest and brutal force thrust by the police, the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari urged the citizens to be patient. Meanwhile, following the assurance by the European Union's chief negotiator that he intends to make compromises on both sides, Brexit talks will resume on Thursday. The resumption of talks was won over by Barnier, the European Commission's head of Task Force for Relations, through his speech on Wednesday. Downing Street confirmed that the speech met the criteria deeming the Brexit talks fit for resumption and that a deal will have to be ready for parliamentary corroboration in less than 4 weeks. Over to India. The city of Mumbai, which was once the epicenter, hit a point of relief as it crossed 100 days without doubling the number of new coronavirus cases, bringing down the daily growth rate to 0.69%. Following the notification of the Jammu and Kashmir Panchayat Act, the Union Cabinet approved the adoption of the Act and will begin the process for local body polls. Meanwhile, investigation on the Palghar lynching case has led to the naming of 208 new accused and the arrest of 50 people. With this, the total number of accused rose to 373, out of which 11 are juveniles. And in Germany, police have started investigating the attack that took place in 4 galleries in Berlin. 4 galleries in the German capital were vandalized, leaving dozens of ancient artifacts and artworks severely damaged. Police are now seeking help from witnesses to identify the unknown attacker. Officials of the galleries estimated that around 63 objects have been extensively damaged. Since surveillance camera footage did not yield any help, police are now contacting visitors for information. That said, out of the 3,000 visitors, only 1,400 people left their contact information as part of the coronavirus contact tracing regulations. Meanwhile, the country's health minister tested positive for coronavirus merely hours after he met with Chancellor Angela Merkel and other ministers. Although Mr. Spahn is in quarantine, Ms. Merkel and the other ministers will not have to isolate as they had diligently followed the safety measures of mask wearing and social distancing during the meeting. Over to Europe, the recent spike in infections has prompted the European Union to strike a deal with Johnson & Johnson to purchase up to 400 million doses of the coronavirus vaccine. In the words of Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, as coronavirus spreads rapidly across Europe, we are securing doses of future vaccines to protect citizens. Moreover, the European Union has also entered into a contract with Sanofi and AstraZeneca to buy up to 300 million doses of the vaccine from each company. A new policy paper from University of New South Wales suggests the need for internal migration to address the growing displacement in Australia caused by climate change and natural disasters. Subsequently, the paper urges the establishment of a new visa category to facilitate the migration of Pacific Islanders that lost their homes to natural disaster. To this end, authors Jane McAdam and Jonathan Pryke wrote that while Australia cannot stop such displacement altogether, it can implement policy changes now that would help to reduce its scale and impact. Ending today's report, after over 6 months, Thailand welcomed its first group of foreign tourists on Tuesday. The governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand remarked that the group's arrival will open the door to travelers from other low-risk countries. Currently, the group of 39 are in quarantine in a Bangkok hotel. With that, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned for the next program on Radio Express. To receive Radio Express English news and English programs in your WhatsApp, please send a WhatsApp message, English programs, to 90727 95547. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Radio Express. Thank you.